The wine bottle shattered against the marble floor like a gunshot. Nancy's hands wouldn't stop shaking as 50 pairs of cold eyes turned toward her. She was just supposed to serve drinks and disappear. That was the job. Pour wine for dangerous men in expensive suits, collect her paycheck, and go home to her tiny apartment in Itaewon. But the boy in the wheelchair had other plans. Malene sat in the shadows near the grand piano, his small body swallowed by the oversized chair. His legs, useless and thin beneath the blanket, hadn't moved in 5 years. His face was pale as moonlight, empty as a grave. The doctors said he could speak, but he chose silence. 2 years without a single word. Kim Hyun had spent millions on specialists, therapists, healers from around the world. Nothing worked. Until now. "Mom!" Malene whispered again, louder this time. His voice cracked like broken glass. "Mom, please." Nancy took a step back, her heart hammering against her ribs. I think there's been a mistake." Kim Hyun rose from his chair, 6 feet of controlled violence wrapped in a 3-piece suit. His tattoos peeked from beneath his collar, dragons and demons that seemed to move in the candlelight. When he walked, the room held its breath. He moved toward Nancy with the slow, deliberate pace of a predator. "You," he said softly, dangerously. "What did you do to my son?" "Nothing. I swear. I just—" Malene's wheelchair rolled forward. He shouldn't have been able to move it himself. The doctors said his upper body was too weak. But somehow, impossibly, he propelled himself between Nancy and his father. Tears streamed down his hollow cheeks. "Don't hurt her, Dad," Malene begged, his voice raw with desperation. "She came back, just like she promised. She came back for me." Kim Hyun's jaw clenched. A vein pulsed at his temple. He looked at Nancy like she was a puzzle that might explode if solved incorrectly. Around them, the Mafia bosses whispered in Korean, their voices sharp with suspicion and intrigue. Nancy caught words she'd learned. Suspicious, trap, witch. "I don't know what's happening," Nancy said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I've never met your son before. I'm just a waitress. I came here 3 weeks ago from Lagos." "I don't." "You're lying." Kim Hyun's hand moved to his waist where Nancy knew a gun was hidden. "My son doesn't speak. He doesn't trust anyone. Not his doctors. Not his tutors. Not even me." His voice cracked slightly, revealing a wound beneath the armor. "But he speaks to you. A stranger." Malene grabbed Nancy's hand. His grip was surprisingly strong. "She's not a stranger, Dad. She saved me once. She can save me again." The room went silent. Even the chandeliers seemed to stop swaying. Kim Hyun stared at his son, then at Nancy, then back at his son. Something shifted behind his eyes, calculation mixing with desperate, dangerous hope. "1 week, he finally said. "You stay in my house for 1 week. You will not leave. You will not contact anyone. You will stay with Malene, and we will see if this is real or if you're the most skilled con artist I've ever met." He leaned close, his breath hot against Nancy's ear. "And if you're lying, if this is a trick, I will make you wish you never learned my son's name." Nancy's throat went dry. She wanted to run. Every instinct screamed at her to bolt for the doors. But Malene's hand in hers was so small, so fragile, and his eyes held a grief that looked far too ancient for a 7-year-old boy. "Okay," she heard herself say. 1 week. Kim Hyun nodded once. Sharp. Final. He snapped his fingers, and 2 bodyguards appeared at Nancy's sides. "Take her to the East Wing," Kim Hyun ordered. "She doesn't leave Malene's sight, and someone find out everything about this woman. Where she's been, who sent her, everything." As the guards led Nancy away, she looked back at Malene. The boy was smiling now, a strange, knowing smile that sent chills down her spine. He mouthed 2 words, "Thank you." Nancy didn't know if she just saved a child's life or walked straight into a trap that would cost her own. What do you think would happen to Nancy? Phew. Before we continue, hit subscribe, like this video, and tell me in the comments where in the world you're watching from. I believe this story found you today for a reason. 5 years earlier, the Kim mansion had been filled with laughter. Malene was only 2 years old, chasing butterflies in the garden while his mother, Sumin, sipped champagne on the terrace. She wore a white dress that cost more than most people earned in a year. Kim Hyun watched from his study window, a rare smile touching his lips. For one perfect moment, he wasn't the god of death. He was just a father. Then the black van crashed through the iron gates. Kim Hyun heard the gunfire before his brain could process what was happening. He was moving before the screaming started, his hand already on his weapon. He burst through the glass doors onto the terrace just in time to see 3 masked men firing at everything that moved. The gardeners fell first, then Sumin's bodyguard. "Malene!" Kim Hyun roared. The boy stood frozen in the middle of the lawn, a yellow butterfly cupped in his tiny hands. He looked up at his father with confused, innocent eyes. He didn't understand why everyone was running. He didn't understand the loud noises. Kim Hyun ran faster than he'd ever run in his life. The world moved in slow motion. He could see the assassin turning, raising his rifle, aiming at the small figure in the grass. Kim Hyun was 20 feet away, then 10, then 5. The shot echoed like thunder. Kim Hyun dove, but he was 1 second too late. The bullet tore through Malene's spine at the base of his back. The boy crumpled like a broken doll, the butterfly escaping from his hands and flying away into the blood-stained sky. Kim Hyun caught his son before he hit the ground. Warm blood soaked through his shirt. Malene's eyes were wide with shock, his mouth opening and closing like a fish drowning in air. "Papa," he whispered. "Papa, I can't feel my legs." Kim Hyun killed all 3 assassins in less than 30 seconds. He didn't remember doing it. He only remembered the sound of his own screaming and the weight of his son going limp in his arms. The hospital smelled like death and disinfectant. Kim Hyun sat in the waiting room for 7 hours, covered in his son's blood, while surgeons fought to save Malene's life. His men surrounded him, silent and grim. No one dared speak. No one dared tell him the rumors already spreading through the underworld, that the hit was ordered by the rival Jang syndicate, that this was retaliation for Kim Hyun's massacre of their weapons depot, that his son paid the price for his father's sins. When the doctor finally emerged, his face said everything. "He'll live," the doctor said carefully, "but the damage to his spinal cord is severe. He'll never walk again." Kim Hyun said nothing. He simply stood and walked into his son's room. Malene lay in the hospital bed, so small beneath the white sheets, tubes and wires connecting him to machines that beeped like mechanical hearts. His eyes were open but empty. "Papa." Malene's voice was barely a whisper. "When can I go play outside again?" Kim Hyun's chest cracked open. He knelt beside the bed and took his son's hand. "Soon," he lied. "Very soon." Behind him, the door opened. Sumin walked in wearing a black coat and dark sunglasses. She didn't look at the bed. She looked at Kim Hyun with cold, disgusted eyes. "I want a divorce," she said flatly. Kim Hyun's head snapped up. "What? You heard me. I'm not staying married to a man whose enemies shoot children. And I'm certainly not staying to raise a..." She glanced at Malene with barely concealed revulsion. "A cripple. He's your son?" Kim Hyun said, his voice dangerously low. "He was my son. I gave you a perfect, healthy boy. You turned him into a useless burden." Sumin opened her purse and pulled out a thick envelope. "My lawyers will contact you. I want 50 million won and the villa in Jeju. You can keep the broken child." "He's worthless to me now." She turned to leave. Kim Hyun's gun was out before he could think. He aimed it at the back of her head, his finger tight on the trigger. Every man in the hallway held their breath. One word from Kim Hyun, and Sumin would be dead before she reached the elevator. But from the bed, Malene whispered, "Papa, where's Mama going?" Kim Hyun lowered the gun. He watched his wife walk away without looking back, her heels clicking against the cold hospital floor like nails in a coffin. That night, Kim Hyun went to the Jang Syndicate's headquarters and burned it to the ground with everyone inside. They said he walked through the flames like a demon, killing anyone who tried to escape. When he finally emerged, covered in ash and blood, his men saw something had changed in his eyes. The father had died in that fire. Only the monster remained. Nancy's suitcase looked pathetic sitting in the marble foyer. One battered bag held everything she owned in Korea. 3 uniforms, 2 pairs of jeans, a Bible her mother gave her, and a photo of her family back in Lagos. The mansion around her was a palace of cold luxury. Crystal, gold, silence that felt like judgment. "Follow me," the head servant, Mrs. Choi, said in clipped English. She was a thin woman with sharp eyes and a mouth that looked like it had forgotten how to smile. She didn't offer to help with the bag. Nancy followed her up 3 flights of stairs, past paintings worth more than her entire neighborhood, past rooms larger than the restaurant where she used to work. The servants they passed stopped and stared. Their whispers followed like knives. "That's her? The African. I heard she bewitched the young master. Probably here to steal. Lock your rooms tonight." Mrs. Choi opened a door at the end of a dark hallway. "This is your room. You'll sleep here. You'll eat in the kitchen with the staff. You are not a guest. You are not family. You are..." She paused, searching for the right word. "An experiment. When Master Kim realizes his mistake, you'll be gone." The room was small, barely larger than a closet. A single bed, a lamp, no windows. Nancy had seen prison cells with more warmth. "Master Malin's room is next door," Mrs. Choi continued. "You're to be with him from 7 in the morning until he sleeps. You do not wander the house. You do not speak to Master Kim unless spoken to. You do not." A crash interrupted her. Then a child's scream. Nancy didn't think. She dropped her bag and ran toward the sound. Mrs. Choi shouted after her, but Nancy was already pushing through the door. Malin's room was enormous and empty. Expensive toys lined the shelves, still in their boxes. Medical equipment stood in the corner like silent guards. And in the center, Malin sat on the floor beside his overturned wheelchair, his useless legs twisted beneath him, tears streaming down his face. "I'm sorry," he sobbed. "I'm sorry. I just wanted to reach the window. I just wanted to see outside." Nancy's heart shattered. She knelt beside him, ignoring Mrs. Choi's sharp gasp behind her. "Hey, hey," Nancy said softly. "There's nothing to be sorry for." She lifted him gently, surprised by how light he was, how fragile. She placed him back in his chair and wheeled him to the window. "There. Now you can see." Malin stared out at the garden, at the world he couldn't touch, and fresh tears fell. Nancy pulled a chair beside him and took his small hand. "When I was little in Lagos," she said quietly, "my grandmother used to sing to me when I was sad. Would you like to hear?" Malin nodded, not taking his eyes from the window. Nancy began to sing. The words were in Yoruba, soft and rhythmic. A lullaby about a bird that couldn't fly but learned to sing so beautifully that the whole forest came to listen. Her voice filled the cold room with warmth. Malin's crying slowed, then stopped. He turned to look at Nancy with those ancient, wounded eyes. "What does it mean?" he whispered. "It means," Nancy said, wiping his tears with her thumb, "that we all have something broken inside us. But broken doesn't mean useless. Broken means we have space to let new light in." For the first time in 5 years, Malin smiled. It was small and fragile, like a flower pushing through concrete, but it was real. From the doorway, hidden in shadow, Kim Hyun watched. He had come to check on the stranger in his house, to make sure she wasn't planning something sinister. But now he stood frozen, his hand gripping the doorframe so hard his knuckles turned white. Because his son was smiling. His son, who hadn't smiled since the day his mother called him worthless and walked away. His son, who Kim Hyun had spent 5 years and millions of dollars trying to save, was smiling at a poor waitress from Africa who owned nothing but a battered suitcase and a song. Kim Hyun felt something crack inside his chest. Something he thought had died in the hospital 5 years ago. He turned and walked away before anyone could see his face. Before anyone could see the tears. Before we continue, hit subscribe, like this video, and tell me in the comments where in the world you're watching from. I believe this story found you today for a reason. The conference room smelled like cigars and old blood. Kim Hyun sat at the head of the long table, surrounded by 5 men who had ruled Seoul's underworld since before he was born. The elders, gray-haired predators in expensive suits who had built their empires on the bones of anyone who showed weakness. Elder Park spoke first. He was the oldest, his face a map of scars and cruelty. "We've heard disturbing rumors, Kim Hyun, about a foreign woman living in your home. She's caring for my son," Kim Hyun said evenly. That's all. Elder Kwan laughed, but there was no humor in it. "You bring a random African waitress into your house, give her access to your heir, and expect us to believe this is innocent? My son spoke for the first time in 2 years because of her." "Your son is broken," Elder Park said bluntly. "We've tolerated your sentimentality about the boy, but now you're making decisions that affect all of us. This woman is a security risk, a liability, an embarrassment." Kim Hyun's jaw tightened. "Watch your words." Elder Yoon leaned forward, his voice oily with false concern. "We're trying to protect you, Kim Hyun. People are talking. They say you've gone soft. They say the great god of death is being manipulated by a woman who appeared out of nowhere." He paused. "They say you're weak." The word hung in the air like poison. "I'm not weak," Kim Hyun said quietly, dangerously. "Then prove it," Elder Park demanded. "Send her away. Tonight, before our enemies see this as an opportunity." Kim Hyun thought of Maline's smile, the first real smile in 5 years. He thought of Nancy singing in Yoruba, her voice filling the empty spaces in his house with something that felt almost like hope. "No," he said. The room went silent. "You didn't say no to the elders. Not if you wanted to keep breathing." Elder Park's eyes narrowed. "You're refusing a direct order from this council?" "I'm making a decision about my own household. My son is healing. For the first time since the attack, he's healing. I won't destroy that because you're afraid of gossip." "It's not gossip we fear," Elder Kwan said coldly. "It's perception. Our enemies are watching. The Yakuza, the Triads, the Russians. They see Korea's most ruthless boss keeping a foreign woman in his home, and they wonder if he's lost his edge, if he's become sentimental, soft." Elder Yoon nodded. "Sentiment is a disease in our world, Kim Hyun. It spreads, it weakens, and weakness invites war." Kim Hyun stood slowly. His hand rested casually near his weapon. "Let me be very clear. The woman stays. My son needs her. Anyone who has a problem with that can bring it to me directly." "You would risk everything for a crippled child and a stranger?" Elder Park's voice dripped with disgust. Kim Hyun's gun was out before anyone could blink. He pressed it against Elder Park's forehead, his voice dropping to a lethal whisper. "Call my son that word again. I dare you." The other elders reached for their weapons, but no one fired. The tension in the room was explosive. One wrong move and they'd all die. Elder Park didn't flinch. He'd survived 40 years in the underworld by never showing fear. "You've just proven my point, Kim Hyun. You're emotional, unstable. That woman has poisoned your judgment in less than a week." Kim Hyun lowered his gun slowly. "This meeting is over." "Not quite," Elder Yoon said. "We're giving you 1 month. 1 month to come to your senses. If that woman is still in your house after 30 days, we'll assume you're no longer fit to lead. And we'll take steps to protect the organization." It was a threat wrapped in silk. Kim Hyun understood perfectly. They would kill Nancy, and if he tried to stop them, they'd kill him too. Are we clear? Elder Park asked. Kim Hyun walked to the door without answering. But as he reached for the handle, Elder Kwan's voice stopped him. One more thing. We've started our own investigation into this Nancy woman. Her background, her real intentions. If we find out she's a spy, or an assassin, or anything other than what she claims. He smiled without warmth. Well, problems have a way of disappearing in our world. Kim Hyun left without looking back. But his hands were shaking with rage and something else. Something that felt terrifyingly close to fear. Because for the first time in his life, he had something to lose that violence couldn't protect. He had his son's smile, and the woman who brought it back. The scream tore through the mansion at 2 in the morning. Nancy jolted awake, her heart hammering. For a moment she forgot where she was. Then another scream came, high and terrified, and she was running. Her bare feet slapped against the cold marble as she burst into Maline's room. The boy was thrashing in his bed, tangled in silk sheets soaked with sweat. His eyes were open but unseeing, locked in whatever horror was playing behind them. No, no, please, Maline sobbed. Papa, I can't feel my legs. Papa, help me. The blood. There's so much blood. Maline, I'm here. Nancy rushed to his side, gathering him into her arms. He was burning up, his small body trembling violently. You're safe. It's just a dream. They're shooting. Mama, don't leave. Mama. Nancy's throat tightened. She rocked him gently, pressing his face against her shoulder. Shoo, baby. Shoo, I'm here. I've got you. You'll leave too, Maline whimpered, his fingers clutching her nightshirt like a lifeline. Everyone leaves. Mama left because I'm broken. Papa is never here because I remind him of that day. Everyone leaves broken things behind. Nancy felt tears sliding down her own cheeks. She'd only known this child for 4 days, but the pain in his voice carved into her soul like a knife. I'm not going anywhere, she whispered fiercely. Do you hear me? I'm not leaving. You promise. I promise. She began to sing, the same Yoruba lullaby from before, soft and steady as a heartbeat. Slowly, Maline's breathing evened out. His grip loosened, but he didn't let go. Tell me about your mother, he whispered. Your real mother. Nancy smiled through her tears. Her name is Amara. She's strong and loud, and she laughs like thunder. She used to carry me on her back while she sold plantains in the market. Even when I got too big, she'd still carry me. She'd say, Nancy, you'll always be my baby, even when you're as tall as a tree. She sounds nice. She is. She's the best person I know. Maline was quiet for a long moment. Then, so softly she almost didn't hear, I wish you were my real mother. Nancy's heart broke and healed at the same time. She kissed the top of his head. I'm here now. That's what matters. She held him until his breathing deepened into sleep. But even then, she didn't leave. She couldn't. So she stayed, sitting on his bed with his head in her lap, stroking his hair and humming softly. She didn't know Kim Hyun was standing in the doorway. He'd heard the screaming from his study 3 floors down. He'd come running with his gun drawn, ready to kill whatever threat had entered his home. But instead he found this. A poor woman from a country he'd barely thought about, holding his son like he was made of something precious and fragile. Protecting him from nightmares Kim Hyun couldn't fight. Kim Hyun had spent 5 years trying to fix his son. He'd hired the best doctors, the most expensive therapists, the top specialists from around the world. He'd offered millions to anyone who could make Maline speak again, smile again, be whole again. But none of them had held his son through the nightmares. None of them had stayed. Why? The word left Kim Hyun's mouth before he could stop it. Nancy's head snapped up. She'd been so focused on Maline she hadn't heard him approach. In the moonlight streaming through the window, Kim Hyun looked different. Smaller somehow. More human. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Why do you care? Kim Hyun stepped into the room, his voice rough. He's a stranger's broken child. You owe us nothing. You could leave right now and no one would blame you. His hands clenched at his sides. So why do you stay? Why do you hold him like he's yours? Nancy looked down at Maline's sleeping face, then back at Kim Hyun. Her eyes were fierce and bright with unshed tears. Because every child deserves a mother, she said simply. Every single one. It doesn't matter if they're broken or whole, rich or poor, from here or from anywhere else. Children deserve to be held when they're scared. They deserve to be told they matter. They deserve to know that someone will stay. Kim Hyun felt something inside him crack wide open. Even if that child isn't yours? Especially if that child isn't mine. Because the children who need love the most are the ones the world has already given up on. Nancy's voice broke. Maline thinks he's broken. He thinks that's why his mother left. But he's not broken, Mr. Kim. He's just hurting. And hurt can heal if someone cares enough to stay through the hard parts. Kim Hyun crossed the room in 3 strides. He knelt beside the bed, his face level with hers. Up close, she could see the exhaustion carved into his features, the grief he wore like armor. I've killed men for less than what my wife said to him in that hospital, Kim Hyun whispered. I burned an entire organization to the ground because they took his legs. But I couldn't. His voice cracked. I couldn't take away his pain. Couldn't make him smile. I couldn't be enough. You're his father. You'll always be enough. Do you think love would prevail? Let us keep watching. Before we continue, hit subscribe, like this video, and tell me in the comments where in the world you're watching from. I believe this story found you today for a reason. No. Kim Hyun looked at his sleeping son. I'm the reason he was shot. I'm the reason his mother left. I'm the reason he has nightmares. He looked back at Nancy, and for the first time, she saw the broken man beneath the monster. But in 4 days, you gave him something I couldn't give him in 5 years. Hope. Nancy reached out slowly and placed her hand over Kim Hyun's where it rested on the bed. Then let me help you. Let me stay. Not because you're ordering me to, but because he needs both of us. Kim Hyun stared at their hands, hers small and warm, his scarred and deadly. The elders want you gone, he said quietly. They think you're making me weak. Are you? Weak? Kim Hyun looked at his son, peaceful for the first time in years, safe in the arms of a woman who had every reason to run but chose to stay. Yes, he admitted, and I don't know if I care anymore. The front gates exploded open at noon. Nancy was reading to Maline in the garden when the black Mercedes screeched to a halt. A woman in white Chanel stormed toward them like a hurricane. Sumin, there's my baby. Her voice was shrill with false emotion. Behind her came 3 lawyers and a cameraman already filming. Maline went rigid in Nancy's arms. No, he whispered. No, no, no. Maline, darling. Mommy's here. Mommy came back for you. You're not my mother. Maline's voice trembled. You left. You called me useless. Sumin's perfect smile cracked. Her eyes shifted to Nancy. Pure venom. Get your hands off my son, you gold-digging witch. A lawyer stepped forward, shoving papers at Nancy. Restraining order. You have 10 minutes to leave. Mrs. Kim is filing for emergency custody. She's not a predator. Maline screamed. She's the only one who stayed. She's brainwashed you, baby. Sumin snapped her fingers at her guards. Get him. 2 men moved forward. Nancy pulled Maline closer, shielding him with her body. Don't touch him, Nancy said quietly. You have no legal right to this child, the lawyer sneered. Step aside or we'll arrest you for kidnapping. Nancy, don't let them take me. Maline's screams pierced the air. Mama, please. Sumin lunged forward, grabbing Maline's arm and pulling hard. Maline's scream became inhuman. No, Mama, Mama, what the hell is going on here? Kim Hyun's voice cut through the chaos like a blade. He stood at the garden entrance, his face dark with fury. 5 armed men materialized behind him. Sumin immediately switched to tears. Hyun, thank God. This woman has been... Don't. Kim Hyun's single word froze her. He walked forward slowly, seeing everything. The cameras, the lawyers, his son sobbing and terrified in Nancy's arms. You brought cameras to my house? You brought lawyers to ambush a 7-year-old child. I'm protecting our son. Our son. Kim Hyun laughed without humor. Our son stopped being yours when you called him worthless and walked away. He knelt beside Malene, touching his tear-stained face. Malene, look at me. Papa, don't let her take me. Please. She doesn't love me. I know. Kim Hyun's voice cracked. And I promise, she will never take you anywhere. He stood, facing Sumin. The father vanished. The god of death returned. You have 30 seconds to get off my property. You can't threaten me. I have legal rights. Kim Hyun pulled out his phone, made one call. Judge Han? Kill Restraining Order 2024 to 7839. He listened, then smiled coldly. Thank you. He hung up. Your case no longer exists. Leave. Now. You're choosing her? This nobody over your own wife. Ex-wife. And yes. Kim Hyun looked at Nancy holding his son. Because she stayed. Kim Hyun pulled his gun and shot the camera. It exploded. 5 seconds. Sumin and her team ran. When they were gone, Kim Hyun sat beside Nancy and Malene, wrapping his arms around them both. I'm sorry, he whispered. I should have been here. Malene looked up with devastated eyes. She almost took Mama away. Kim Hyun met Nancy's gaze over his son's head. Never, he said quietly. No one will ever take her from you. I promise. The explosion tore through the east wing at midnight. Nancy jerked awake to the sound of gunfire and screaming. Alarms shrieked through the mansion. She didn't think. She ran to Malene's room. The hallway was filled with smoke and the acrid smell of burning wood. Malene! She burst through his door. The boy was awake, frozen in his wheelchair, eyes wide with terror. The same terror from 5 years ago. Nancy! We have to go. Now. Nancy grabbed the wheelchair, shoving it toward the door. But it was too late. 3 masked men crashed through the window in a shower of glass. The lead gunman raised his rifle, aiming directly at Malene's head. Nancy didn't hesitate. She threw herself in front of the wheelchair, spreading her arms wide. No! The gunshot was deafening. Fire exploded through Nancy's left shoulder. The impact spun her sideways, but she stayed standing, her body still shielding Malene. Blood bloomed across her nightshirt like crimson flowers. Move, bitch! The gunman snarled in Korean. We're not here for you. Then you'll have to go through me. Nancy gasped, her vision blurring with pain. Behind her, Malene was screaming. Nancy! Nancy, no! The gunman aimed again. The door exploded inward. Kim Hyun entered like death incarnate, his face twisted with primal rage. He moved with terrifying precision. One shot. The lead gunman's head snapped back, dead before he hit the floor. The second attacker turned his weapon. Kim Hyun was faster. 2 shots to the chest. The man crumpled. The third tried to run. Kim Hyun caught him by the throat, slamming him against the wall with inhuman strength. Who sent you? His voice was barely human. When the man didn't answer fast enough, Kim Hyun broke his neck with his bare hands. The room fell silent except for Malene's sobbing and Nancy's labored breathing. Nancy! Malene's voice was broken, desperate. Nancy, please. Nancy's legs gave out. She collapsed, blood pooling beneath her. Kim Hyun was there instantly, catching her before she hit the ground. He pressed his hand against her shoulder, trying to stop the bleeding. Stay with me, Kim Hyun commanded. Nancy, stay with me. Malene. Nancy's voice was weak. Is he safe? He's safe. You saved him. Now let me save you. Medical team now. Kim Hyun roared into his phone. Malin wheeled himself closer, tears streaming down his face. He grabbed Nancy's hand, his small fingers slick with her blood. Don't leave me. Please, Mama, don't leave me. You promised. You promised you'd stay. Nancy tried to speak, but darkness was creeping in at the edges of her vision. Don't take my mom away. Malin screamed at the universe, at God, at anyone who would listen. She's all I have. Don't take her away. Kim Hyun looked at this woman bleeding in his arms. This stranger who'd walked into their lives 2 weeks ago and changed everything. This woman who'd just taken a bullet meant for his son without hesitation. You're not going anywhere, Kim Hyun whispered fiercely against her hair. You hear me, Nancy? You don't get to die. You don't get to leave us. Not now. Not ever. Nancy's eyes fluttered closed, and Kim Hyun, for the second time in his life, knew what it felt like to be completely powerless. Nancy woke to the steady beep of machines and the smell of antiseptic. Her shoulder was on fire. She tried to move and gasped. Don't. Kim Hyun's voice was rough, exhausted. He sat in a chair beside her bed, still wearing his blood-stained shirt from 3 days ago. His eyes were red-rimmed, his face covered in stubble. He looked like he'd aged 10 years. Malin. Nancy's voice was barely a whisper. He's here. Kim Hyun gestured to the other side of the bed. Malin was asleep in his wheelchair, slumped forward with his head resting on Nancy's good arm. His hand clutched hers tightly, even in sleep. His face was swollen from crying. He hasn't left, Kim Hyun said quietly. Not to eat, not to sleep. The nurses tried to take him back to the mansion. He screamed so loud they thought he was dying. His voice cracked. He said if they took him away from you, he'd stop breathing, that he'd will himself to die. Nancy's eyes filled with tears. She stroked Malin's hair gently with her free hand. The doctors said the bullet missed your artery by 2 millimeters. Kim Hyun continued. 2 millimeters between life and death. Between my son having a mother and... He couldn't finish. I'm okay, Nancy whispered. You took a bullet for him. Kim Hyun stood, moving closer. His hands were shaking. You didn't even hesitate. You just threw yourself in front of the gun, like his life mattered more than yours. It does. No. Kim Hyun's voice was fierce. No, Nancy. Your life matters. To him. He stopped, struggling with words he'd never learned to say. To me. Nancy looked up at him, surprised. Kim Hyun knelt beside the bed, his face level with hers. I've spent 3 days watching you breathe, praying to gods I don't believe in that you'd wake up, thinking about what would happen if you didn't. His voice dropped to a raw whisper. And I realized something. You're not just his caregiver. You're not just the woman who made him smile again. He reached out, gently touching her face. You're his miracle. You walked into our broken home and put pieces back together I didn't even know were missing. You held him through nightmares I couldn't fight. You stayed when everyone else left. You took a bullet meant for him without a second thought. His voice broke. You're his miracle, Nancy. He paused, his thumb brushing away a tear from her cheek. And maybe, you're mine too. Nancy's breath caught. She saw something in his eyes she'd never seen before. Not the god of death, not the mafia boss, just a man, broken, grateful, and terrified of losing the only light that had entered his darkness in years. Kim Hyun. Just Hyun, he whispered. When it's just us, just call me Hyun. Malin stirred, his eyes fluttering open. When he saw Nancy awake, his face crumpled with relief. Mama, you're awake. You're really awake. I'm here, baby, Nancy said, pulling him close despite the pain. I'm not going anywhere. Kim Hyun watched them. His son and the woman who'd saved him in every way that mattered, and felt something he thought had died 5 years ago. Hope and love. If you loved this story, hit subscribe, like this video, and tell me in the comments where in the world you're watching from. I'm so sure you got a lot of lessons from this story. Thanks for watching. Stay updated for the next epic Mafia boss love, romance, betrayal, and OTHR stories.